On this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing, we're going to take a peek back at Tim Tszyu's first title defense against Mendoza Down Under this past Saturday. Also, Charlo, is he done with 154? We're also going to take a look at PBC looking for a new home. Showtime says no more boxing or MMA. Really sad day for the sport, in my opinion. All this and so much more on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. So guys, strap in. And girls, thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson. Beside me, as always, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Happy Thursday, my friend. Here we are. I call this Friday Eve.
Yeah.
Weekend is coming, so everything is beautiful. We do have fights this weekend, but nothing really major. It's kind of
nothing major, no.
I like to call this the filler week, right? But these filler weeks give us some big surprises and some great highlights. So
yeah,
let's see what we got coming this weekend. But brother man, Tim Tszyu, first title defense against Mendoza Down Under. Let's talk about it, man. You ready?
Go.
Let's get this thing going. All right, man. Your thoughts on the fight?
Mendoza, I thought he had the first 6 rounds. 7th round though, then Tim Tszyu turned it up. You could see Tim Tszyu the first 6 rounds stalking him, feeling out, trying to get his timing. But Mendoza was winning the fight, I thought, the first half of it. And the 7th round, he hit that triple uppercut. Tim Tszyu on Mendoza that rocked him big time. That changed the whole fight. Yeah. And then round 10, those right hands, he's clubbing them, hitting them. The ref was considering stopping the fight in the 10th round. 12th round happens. The doctor checks him out. Mendoza was game to fight. Mendoza's a warrior. He took a heck of a beating, but he held his own. I mean, unanimous decision for Tim Tszyu, which is the right call, but it was a good fight. And Tszyu hits hard, and Mendoza's a warrior. So hats off to him on that performance. Took a lot of shots. Most guys would have went down.
100%. So Tim Tszyu, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, but I think he was more challenged in this one. I mean, Mendoza is nothing to laugh about or joke about, right? Plus, he came in with the chip on his shoulder in this fight, right? No one was giving him any credit. I mean, I'll agree with you.
Massive underdog, too.
Yeah. Going into the 7th round, I mean, I believe it was 3-3, right? Like, they gave 3 of the rounds to Tszyu, but I mean, I wouldn't disagree.
I had Brian winning the fight. By then he was way busier for those rounds, but it was close. I thought at 4-2, but you could say 3-3.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that he was trying to be very aggressive, and he shocked him a little bit. Like, I mean, I think he changed Tim's plan a little bit, to be fair. He kind of gained his respect. That's the way I see that first half of the fight playing out. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought Tim was going to finish him off much earlier, just based on past performances and what he's been able to do so far. But I think he really met a real challenge here for the first time. Take nothing away from Harrison or whoever he fought last, sort of a deal. But I mean, reality of it is, I just he this time he had to work for this victory. And
Mendoza was game fighter,
aggressive in his approach and aggressive in his defense as well. Like his offense and defense, Mendoza, I'm talking about. He really tried to kind of match him for whatever he was. But like you said, I think by the 8th round, the gas tank was starting to run out on him, right? I mean, you could.
And he was rocking the 7 of those triple uppercuts. He got hit with that, changed the whole fight.
But he is one tough mother, man.
Yeah, he was a 7-1 underdog. I mean, by all means, he shouldn't even have lasted that long, and he did. He came game to fight and held his own, put on a good fight for the fans. But yeah, Tim Tszyu's just, I don't know the level of Mendoza, but it was a good fight. You usually see that big of a difference. He doesn't usually turn out like this, but in this case, it did. So good fight for both guys.
I have no issues with that fight at all. In fact, I found that fight to be very refreshing after the day of boxing that I endured.
That was good.
It was good. I liked it. Congratulations to Tim Tszyu. All right, brother man, that ends that round. So speaking of that, let's stay at 154. So word is starting to emerge that Charlo might be Jamel might be done with 154 if he can't get the fights that he wants for the purses that he wants. Let's dig into this, man. I think it's kind of interesting. So basically, Charlo, I haven't heard anything from him per se. These are just people around him talking, I believe. But
Mhm.
I think if he can't get the Bud fight, because after the payday that he got, he doesn't want anything less now.
Yeah, can't blame the guy.
No, I can't blame the guy, right? And no disrespect to Tim Tszyu. Like I was going to ask you, but the round ended. Where does Tim go from here now? Like, what's next
Well,
for
the thing
Tim?
is, here's the thing: if Tim fights Charlo, Charlo's bag won't be as big fighting Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu's a great fighter, but he's not a big name. Big name
And
is Crawford. That's
and
what
that's the thing. And that's the thing, right? That's why he would probably step away. But where does he go? Like, where are the big fights are there for him? I mean, Bud is probably the biggest fight that he can get. Look, man, Charlo didn't show himself well, in my
I
opinion.
don't think he deserves to fight Bud. He just got
No,
his butt kicked by Canelo. Why does he deserve to fight Bud right away? Because he's got the 3 belts, I guess. That would be
no. Would that be
what
the
the
only
people
thing?
want
And
to
the
fight
only
him.
way
But
that match would happen is if Bud was to sign on, but Bud doesn't even want to fight him anymore.
out of that performance against Canelo, I think he has to have maybe fight Tim Tszyu, and then if you win that, then you can have a Bud Crawford of a bigger name. But at the end of the day, he looked terrible
Well,
against Canelo.
Jermell has to rebuild his stock. Exactly. In my opinion, what he did against Canelo was horrible.
Mhm.
Just horrible. Like he stayed, like once he found it, once he felt the power of Canelo, that dude realized I'm just here for the bag,
Yeah,
right? He didn't want to be a meme. He didn't want to get knocked out. He didn't want to get put down, right?
yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
got to
No,
think
he's
about that. Like from that perspective, I bet a lot of these guys think of it that way. Like, oh shit, if I get knocked out, I'm going to become a meme.
yeah, Meeman's a bruise on their ego, and but yeah, no, he only wants the big paydays, and I don't blame him for getting that. But he needs to have a couple fights first, show everybody that he's worth buying the pay-per-view. He's worth spending all the money to travel to see him, because what he showed against Canelo, I don't know if he's worth that much
He's
to
not.
invest that much in it. So he needs to fight a few
He's
guys,
not.
fight Tim Tszyu, and then beat him, and then then he can fight Bud or
the,
somebody like that.
the fight for him is Tim Tszyu because Tim's been chasing him and Tim's been doing everything he's supposed to
Tim
be
wants those
doing,
belts,
right? And obviously he wants those belts. Of course he
and
did.
he and Charlo would have a better chance against Tszyu than Canelo. Canelo is a lot quicker, a lot more skilled than Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is a lot slower. So this would be a more evenly matchup. I still favor Tim Tszyu because he hits hard, but Charlo will look better and fare better against Tszyu because Tim Tszyu is pretty slow. He just hits hard.
Look, ultimately, I don't
We'll
think
see.
Charlo is in any position to look for big fights at this moment. Like you said, he has to go back and have a couple smaller fights to rebuild his stock. Right now, nobody wants to touch him.
Not at the Bud and Canelo level, no.
No, nobody wants to touch that guy now, right? Like, I mean, he basically embarrassed. Like, with all due
If
respect,
he would have fought harder and would have put out a little more effort, we wouldn't be saying
yeah,
that. But he didn't, and
he
it
didn't.
didn't look good.
Right? Like, I mean, in real time, it was a different fight, but when you actually go back and get to see it for what it is, he didn't look good at all, brother.
No, no, he
He
got
did
work.
not look good. All right, end of the round. All right, round number 3, man. I think this is probably going to be our boxing match of the night. The Misfit card. I don't even think 1 round's enough, man, but let's go.
Yeah.
Overall, shit. I'm gonna say it straight up. I just think the whole thing was a letdown overall. I watched the whole thing. To be fair, the tag team fight that they had, which was a really interesting concept, was my favorite thing of the night. The
That's a
two
good concept.
the two main fights of the night let me down horribly. Dylan Dennis is just a complete joke.
Yeah,
Again,
he's a clown.
another example of a guy who didn't want to be a meme. I don't think anything was resolved there. I'm taking nothing away from Logan Paul, but it was just target practice. He really didn't have anything
Oh,
to
he's
do
toying with him.
right? He was just playing with him, right? I mean, there was not much there at all. The other fight, KSI, like, you know what I thought about when I watched KSI fight when he came out there and he's doing all this stuff? Reminded me of the Grinch, Jim Carrey's Grinch when he was dancing in his cave.
Yeah, he's trying to entertain, but I know what you mean, though. I hear what you're saying.
Right? Tommy, I'm not look, man, even his own brother was saying the guy's a novice. His dad even said, look, the kid's just a novice, he's whatever, right? Like no one I think he won, to be fair. I think he won. I mean, I think at the end of the day, KSI just loves to hug.
Yeah, well, yeah. That main event wasn't a great main event. Logan was trying to fight. He was
No,
running, he was
Logan
throwing, this guy
was
was
trying to
running.
fight.
Dylan knew he got a few punches. Oh, crap, Logan Paul hits hard. Here's the thing about that. It wasn't the most entertaining card, but here's the thing why this was successful. 1.3 million pay-per-view buys says it all. Now, it was only $20 a buy. So to keep that in mind, but 1.3 million people bought this card, and that's a win. That's a win for Logan Paul, KSI, Tommy Fury. It brings eyeballs to the sport. Was the fights great? No. The main event was a joke, right? But how many pay-per-views have we watched of the supposed real boxers, and they've been bad fights too? Yeah. But this pay-per-view here is the biggest one of the year so far.
No, and I get that. I get all of that. But here's the other problem. I don't think they'll ever do those numbers again because a lot of people left with so.
Logan, no, dude, Logan and KSI have such a big following. You won't see Tommy Fury, and you won't see this Dylan Dennis guy again. But Jake Paul's fighting on December 15th on the Zone. Now he's not a big a draw as his brother Logan is, right? But 1.3 million. I was shocked when I see that. That's more than the Canelo fight did.
Yeah. I know, but so you're also dealing with the whole different generation of kids and everything. I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah, people are trashing him, and I will agree that main event was not a good fight. Boring. The Logan Paul fight would have been good if Dylan would have fought back, but he didn't fight him back. 6 rounds. Maybe that clown move at the end, doing MMA choking.
Dylan went into this fight with no trainer. He had no corner. He had no boxing coach. Like, what did he train for?
He was just doing the stuff with his girl, building up hype, smack talking. He made a big bag of money. That's all he cares about. But yeah, the Fury KSI fight, that wasn't a good fight. Logan Paul tried. What can you do? He was running, hiding. But 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. Good on you, Logan and KSI, because that's huge.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of it at all, brother. I'll be honest. I gave it a fair shot, to be fair, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not complaining.
At the end of the day, though, how many regular supposed real boxers we watch in bad shows?
No, I get it, but it's like music, right? I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of a lot of these super mega stars. They have their following, and you know what? They're doing something for people who like their stuff. I'm not.
No, I could see if this only got like 50,000 pay-per-views, and I would say shut this down. But if 1.3 million people are going to spend their money to watch it, they got something going and keep it going, and good for them.
Garcia hated it. Ryan Garcia hated it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of boxers like he just thought like it was like. What did he say? He said something along the lines like, "The Zone, don't put this shit on the network anymore."
But why wouldn't they? More people are buying this than everybody else's pay-per-view. So they're going to keep putting it on. When 1.3 million people buy this pay-per-view, it's a win.
No, I get it, man. I'm not shitting on it from that perspective. I get it. 1.3 million.
Was the most exciting night of fights? Absolutely not. But
no. But again,
Logan's going to fight again, and he'll keep going.
Well, I don't know. He said he's not. He's going to focus on WWE now. So let's see.
He'll fight again. It's all about the money, man. It's all about the money.
Let's see what they do, brother. All right, round number 4. PBC is looking for a brand new home. Let's get this one started. Sad day for boxing if you think about it, man. HBO left the game. Now Showtime's leaving the game. Word has it that Al Heyman and PBC are negotiating with the Zone.
The Zone, Amazon, NBC. It's going to go on a streaming platform.
Yeah, I think the best fit would be NBC.
But NBC streaming though.
Yeah, but they got Peacock.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna want. I don't know if they're gonna want that there with WWE there. But it's sad. They didn't want boxing. But at the end of the day, it's about the money, man. And they wanted too much money, and they told them we're done with it. They didn't want to put all their money. It sucks for the employees. Everybody at Showtime, the PBC Boxing lost their jobs from Showtime, right? But like, I think they might go to Amazon. Who knows where they go? But they'll be fine. They've had some great fights, and they got a successful roster. They'll be just fine. It's sad that they're off Showtime. We'll watch them on Amazon.
No, we'll follow them where they go. Obviously, I just think it's sad. It's just another hit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, watching fights on HBO was very special.
But the networks don't want to put money into a bunch of money in some of the stuff. It was not getting a big return. So they cut their losses. I'm not saying they were losing money, but they weren't making. Obviously, it wasn't as profitable as they thought, or this would still be going on.
Fair enough, man. But I mean, I'm curious to see where they go with it all. Like, I mean, they got to find a new home for January, or otherwise, what are they going to do?
They'll be on a streaming platform.
I don't know how it would work though, because you're kind of shutting yourself off to a lot of public. Then, like,
that's the way of the world, dude. Everything is going streaming now,
right? Like, you're going to lose more viewers if you, in my opinion, anyways. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I mean, I'm just kind of guessing off the top of my head. You go to Amazon Prime. Does everyone have an Amazon Prime subscription? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Like, here's the thing I don't like about some of these streaming services. Now, here in Vancouver, I'm really trying to get behind the Whitecaps.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I when they won't put the games on TV anymore? You have to have an Apple subscription.
Yeah, I think they only had like 10 or 12 on TSN. Most of them on Apple.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Everything is going to go streaming. You're going to be able to pick what you want to watch. So if you want to watch a Showtime pay-per-view,
right,
you go on Amazon. You'll get this is what the Zone does. You get to watch their boxing fights. They used to. And then you used to get the Canelo fights for free. Now You got to have the subscription and buy the pay-per-view to get the
I'm
fights.
surprised that WWE hasn't done that with Mania.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm really surprised. Like I hope they don't. But I mean, at the end of the day, like think about it. I mean, you would think they would do that with Mania.
You think so, even for $20-$30, you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, it just sucks. It really sucks. It's like how
it does. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of 50, 60 employees lost their jobs, but they'll bounce back. They'll go to streaming. It sucks. The end of an era. 37 years they were there, right? Since 1986. It's too bad. But Heyman's smart. They got some smart people in place, great boxers, great talent. They'll bounce back on Amazon or Peacock or wherever they go, they'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, brother man, that's the end of that round. I tell you what, man, I think that's basically everything we kind of got for today. Do you have something on this day in boxing history? Or
I got
boxing history.
This is new series now, 2-piece. I got the boxing history, and then we got Canadian boxing history, which I'm going to bring every time now. I'll start off with this week in boxing history. Yeah. One of my all-time favorite fighters, top 10, Triple G. So only he beat David Lemieux, who's a fellow Canadian I always cheer for. So the only time I never cheered for David Lemieux was he fought Triple G 8 years ago. This week, Triple G KOs him to unify the 160 titles. David Lemieux doesn't get enough respect as a top Canadian fighter. He's been there with lots of great fighters. Triple G, Canelo, he's been there with them all. So great fighter. But yeah, this
David
week,
Benavidez.
Yeah, this week, Triple G knocks him out, unifies the 160 titles 8 years ago today. Now, in Canadian boxing history, we are going to list the only 3 Canadian boxers that have ever won gold medals in the Olympics ever. 1920, Bert Schneider. 1932, what a name, Lefty Gwynn. And in 1988, our most famous Canadian boxer, Lennox Lewis, takes home gold. So three guys only have ever won gold medals in boxing. Bert, Lefty, and Lennox. That is Canadian boxing history this week.
Wow, crazy. So let me ask you about Lennox now that we're talking about it. He wins the gold in 88, but then all of a sudden he becomes British.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there, man. I know. Wins it with Canada, then all of a sudden I'm British. I don't know. But
and then all
I counted it because he went as a Canadian, but I know what you're saying.
And all of a sudden he had a British accent.
I never considered him really a Canadian boxer like I would like David Lemieux or guys like that or Cody. But I mean, because he kind of went from Canadian citizen, then he's a British guy after.
The man on your shirt represented Canada, didn't he? Well, not necessarily at the Olympics, but he fought under the Canadian flag.
Yeah, he's born in Italy and then did most of his fighting in Montreal.
Right.
But we still consider him a Canadian. Tough guy. Yeah. He lost a lot of his big fights though.
Yeah. Beterbiev also fights under the Canadian flag now, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's fighting those that January. That's a fight I'd actually like to see.
Yeah, no, he's in Montreal. Cody Crawley is calling out Mario Barrios, man. I think that's a pretty decent fight.
That'd be a good fight, yeah.
That'd be a great fight.
It's just sad that because Cody's the #1 contender, he should be fighting for the title.
Yeah, but this guy's got the interim title, right? Or he's got the
I know, title. But I mean, I want to see him against. He should be fighting Bud Crawford at
147. They should, but they got to, like I said.
Bud, yeah, that's another thing. We got Bud and Earl Spence coming up in February.
It's February now.
They say February.
Okay.
And they're saying Tyson Fury and Usyk. We know it's a done deal for sure. They're saying December 23rd, man. It's going down. What a Christmas present that'll be.
Well, I think this is going to be a good fight, but I think Eddie Hearns is trying to put something else on in Saudi Arabia on the 23rd. I believe it's Conor Benn and Eubank he's trying to do.
Go ahead. They'll crush them, dude. Nobody's going to care about that fight.
I'm not saying nothing against it.
If Eddie Hearns is smart, which he is, you don't mess with Fury Usyk. Stay away from that. Everybody that likes boxing in the casuals are going to watch Fury and Usyk. Don't even try to put on a secondary fight because nobody's going to watch it, dude.
No, dude.
I know UFC does that, but don't do that in boxing. It just doesn't make sense.
Did you see the promo that they made for Nagano Fury?
Yeah.
The one where he's playing pool or something and Nagano's hitting the heavy bag?
Yeah.
It's one of the best promos I've ever
seen. Dude. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a fun fight. That fight's coming up. We're only, 11 days away from that fight.
Yeah, that's the next big one coming up now is that one. And then after that, we have, I guess.
And I hear they got big entrance. Fury's got a big entrance planned. I don't know what it's going to be, but, they're going to do it big. And I just hope it goes a few rounds, and I think it will.
I think it's going to go about 8. It's going to go at least 10 rounds. It's probably go 6 to 7.
Now, if Nagano stings him a little bit, Fury's more inclined to finish this up. We'll see.
Look, I think basically the only chance Nagano has, we'll go into more detail about this, but very, very quickly, Nagano is going to come out like a bat out of hell and try to get his licks in as fast as he can and try to finish him as fast as he can. The longer it goes, the more it favors Tyson.
And no matter what, Fury's going to win. But if he does lose, the fight with Usyk is still on. No matter what, December 23rd, it's going down. They said that's the date. They're not going to delay it to January, like it's set in stone. Okay. I told everybody on the show, Fury's not ducking Usyk. The guy's half of his size. I said, everybody, let him fight Nagano. Like he brought him in the ring and said, I'm going to fight you. He brought Usyk to the ring. I'm going to fight you. The guy knows what he's doing. He's just building hype. Anybody that thought he was scared of Usyk or ducking Usyk is fooling themselves. You're not scared of a guy that's up to your chest. Now, Usyk could still maybe win, but Fury is not scared of him. That's what I'm saying to everybody.
No, I'm not disagreeing with
you. Crazy to think that he would be.
Well, I think if anything, after what he saw Dubois do to him, I mean,
that definitely is the crap out of his body, dude.
To be honestly, I think that probably made it easy for him to decide, okay, I can kick this little guy's ass. I don't think he ever doubted it before, but seeing that all it takes is one body shot.
Yeah. Well, if Fury's going to attack the body and hit it hard. So I know Usyk will train his core up and strengthen it up, hopefully.
I don't think there's enough he can do, man, in that time.
Probably not. He's here for a long night.
Crazy. All right, brother, man, why don't we wrap it up here? Let the weekend start. Everybody, please have a great weekend. Please be safe. Like we said, there's not really much going on in the world of boxing or wrestling or anything, really. I guess the big thing this week would be the UFC.
UFC's big one, yeah.
That's a big card. And we don't really touch on it very much, but very quick, I'd love to hear your predictions on Islam and Volk Part 2, man. I think Volk's going to get it done this time.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. I think so, too. It should be a good card.
He almost had him, man, the first time. And I think this time, now that he knows what he's dealing with, he's felt him, he's felt his power. I think Volk is that one guy, man. He's going to finish him this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. This is a stacked card in UFC. All their events are always fun.
That co,
the best fight, the best.
I'm really looking forward to that co-main event. Kamaru Usman moving up to 185 to take on Chimaev, man. That probably gets. Who would have thought Sean Strickland, eh?
What's that?
Who would have thought the winner of that gets Sean Strickland?
UFC's got a lot of big fights coming up here, man.
Yeah, but this card's pretty cool, man. Seeing
this card's stacked, yeah.
He looks huge too.
Oh yeah, this is going to be good, man. It's a good solid card. Dana White knows how to put out good fights. He is, I would say, like, he's the best matchmaker in combat sports. He always gives you the best fights you want. It's easier to make fights in UFC than boxing, but he's probably the best matchmaker right now.
And you know what I love about him? Outside of Khabib, every card that they do out of Saudi Arabia is still geared towards us here in North America. Mm-hmm. So those guys are going to be fighting in the middle of the night in order for us to have it in our prime time. That's what I like about Dana. He doesn't mess around. He knows, right?
Dana White is an alpha male. He knows what he likes. He says it how it is. Pisses some people off, but he puts on a great product. And what can you say about the guy? He knows what he's doing.
Outside of slapping his wife in January, I mean, I have no complaints with the guy.
No, he's a heck of a matchmaker. He gets the fights that people want to see.
Absolutely. All right, but man, my name is Bobby Sampson. His name is Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp and Chance. Everyone, please be safe. Have a great weekend. And come back and visit us on Tuesday. Samp and Chance out. Have a great night.